It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Friday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. What am I saying? Confused on the day. This is the second day of February. How's that? Get that part right. We do have a couple of news stories this morning. Again, there's not a lot in the news. Top story today, Princess World Cruise Rerouted. Carnival Elation delayed. Princess withdraws plans to visit Yorktown. American Queen Voyages cancels February cruises. And lots more here at 8:30 a.m. Again, a special time, folks. We're in Amber Cove, the Dominican Republic. I hope to go ashore today. Get to that in a minute. Today, folks, is National Heavenly Hash Day. I couldn't see saying today's Groundhog Day because there's no groundhogs on the ship, so I can't tell if he sees the shadow or not. You see a groundhog on a cruise ship? Whoa. Anyway, National Heavenly Hash Day. So I did some little research this morning trying to find a recipe for heavenly hash. Man, there's 50 different recipes and all of them are totally different. The only thing that's consistent with all of them is they have marshmallows or marshmallow cream. Anyway, I like it. So I don't know if there'll be any on the boat or not. I was disappointed they did not have baked Alaska yesterday. I think Norwegian needs to get on the stick with when there's specialty days. They need to have that on the menu, don't you think? If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guy. All right, so bringing you up to date on my happenings on the ship. Yesterday I was in St. Thomas. After the show and getting everything processed, I went down to go off the ship. I knew I wasn't going to have much time because we had an early departure time, like 1:30. I went down to the gangway and it's pouring down rain again. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I went back upstairs and went up to deck 15 because I was getting screwed out of a pina colada again. I was going to go up there and I knew they had at the wave pool, they have pina coladas. They don't have pina coladas at every bar, which surprises me. That seems to be unusual. But anyway, so I went to the wave bar, which of course is outdoors, but there's enough covered things that I could do that without getting terribly wet. Got my pina colada, got a table that was kind of covered under like a tent type of thing. And sat there and sipped on the pina colada. In the meantime, amigo John told me about deck 18, which I had no idea where there even was a deck 18 because it's got these special elevators to go up there, and nobody knows about it. It had quit raining, and I went up there. It's a sun deck, and literally there was nobody up there. Not so, but there was two people on the whole deck. Hundreds of loungers and stuff, and nobody there. So I'm going to have to try that again when I'm on the Epic next time, or maybe even tomorrow if we have decent weather, just to go up there and see things. So I didn't get ashore yesterday. Last night there was a pretty good group of us who went to dinner at Taste again. It's been unusually difficult to get reservations in the specialty restaurants because the ship sold out, and it's just been dicey. I had one of the 5 of my group was supposed to go to Cagney's last night, and they told our Norwegian guy that they just have no room. They're sold out the rest of the week. All the specialty dinings are sold out. You can't get a reservation anywhere. Now, I have my group dinner for tomorrow night. I was going to be in Manhattan, and my guy says he says that Manhattan's included. We can't do it. He says I can get you into tasting. Well, I didn't want to taste again. And I never realized it's the same menu, but the Manhattan's just such a nicer atmosphere, and you got some entertainment. So actually, one of my girls, I said, "Well, I'll go by Manhattan and see what I can do on my own." And one of the girls on the crew came to me at dinner and says, "I got you hooked up for tomorrow night, but it's going to be a little later than you like. It's going to be at 7:30, 7:45. I said, "It's okay. We'll do the regular 5:30 meeting with the fellows. When they leave to go to dinner, then I'll do my prize drawing and stuff that I'll do, and then we'll all go down to the Manhattan room for dinner. So that'll work out." So I was in dinner, and I'd had the starters, and I actually had 2 last night. And I had to go to the little boyfriend. So I told Gary was sitting across from me, and Gary said, "All right, I'll be back in a minute. And I got to go to John." So I took off and I rolled out to the bathroom. And as I was transferring to take care of business in there, my hand hit the little cover thing that goes over the toilet paper, and it just peeled the skin back from the back of my hand. I, of course, covered it up with toilet paper and all. Now, I looked at it and I said, "Ooh, that's bigger thing than I have in my first aid kit." So I said, "I'm going to have to go up to here on this ship. It's the medical facilities. It's not down, it's up. It's on deck 10. So I told the maitre d', I said, "Could you please go back to my table back there, let them know what's happened." So they're going to wonder where I am and set an alarm that I'll try to get back here before they do dessert maybe. So I go up to the medical facility, and the nurse takes a look at it and says, "Well, do you need to see the doctor?" And I said, "No, I need a big Band-Aid. Give me a big Band-Aid and I'll be fine. I've got paper thin skin, and it tears easily. This is not anything totally unusual for me." So she said, "Well, I got to at least put some stuff on it." So she got some antiseptic stuff. Anyway, put some crap on it and put the Band-Aid on it. Gave me a couple supplies. She's the only thing you want to be careful about. You don't keep it dry, for a day or two. Well, since I'm left-handed and this is my left hand, that means no shower, no washing your hair. So I guess I could get one of my baggies and put it over the hand and try it. Yeah, that's going to be a pain in the butt. So anyway, I'll just wait till tomorrow and take a shower tomorrow. All right. I had a request from one of my podcast listeners, TJ. Don't know if he wants me to use his name, so I'll just say TJ. About Maderno. I did Maderno a couple nights ago, and I had never done Maderno before. I think I've done just about every specialty restaurant at one time or another. I love Cagney's. I love La Bistro. I like La Cucina. course, I've done teppanyaki. I love that. I've done the sushi bar several times. So I've done most of the specialty restaurants. I had not done Moderno, which is a Brazilian steakhouse. And man, it just plain knocked me out. It was so good. First thing about it is that it has a salad bar. Somebody played the salad bar, and I knew not to overeat. They had some sushi, they had some shrimp. They had just unusual things on this. It was a really nice salad bar. I could have been happy to just make my whole meal out of the salad bar. That's how good it is. Then they come over to your table with all these meats, and they bring them on this big skewer thing, and they slice it right there. Everybody has a pair of tongs. They slice, you want a piece, they slice it off, and you grab it with the tongs and put it on your plate. It's pretty clever. But they had lamb. I'd never eaten lamb. The lamb was excellent. The filet mignon was it was superb. There was also, let me think if I can remember all the different meats. The pork bellies, I didn't care for that, but the pork loin was outstanding. They had a flank steak. It was good. They had chicken. I had to sample a little bit of everything just to try it out until I started getting so full I couldn't stand it. They also had a pineapple with cinnamon, and by then I was so full I couldn't do it. But Kenneth, one of the guys that was at the table with me, that's 4 of us for Moderno. I think he had them come back 6 or 7 times for the pineapple. He said, "Oh my God, this is so good." But I don't know. There's probably 7, 8 different kinds of meat, and they'll come back to the table as many times as you want. But the lamb was, I couldn't get over how good the lamb was, and the filet. Those were the 2 best. Of course, I love filet to start with. But everything else, other than, I'm not a fan of pork bellies to start with. So everything else was really good. So, TJ, if you were asking because you're thinking about going again, I think you've been before, do it. It's well worth it. It was a wonderful meal, a wonderful presentation, and a really good meal. So, highly recommend it. All right. I'll be back with the news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. Okay, the top story today, folks. Comes from our Prince and Princess. With tensions continuing to rise in the Red Sea, yet another cruise line has decided to alter course to avoid the region. That's not the right picture, is it? Yep, yes it is. Okay. I thought I'd put the wrong picture up. Because I tend to do that. In an abundance of caution, Princess Cruises announced that the Island Princess would no longer be sailing to the Middle East and Asia as part of its current world cruise, of course, due to the uncertainties surrounding the conflict. Island Princess embarked on a 111-night world cruise on January the 4th with the intention of visiting 51 destinations across 27 countries and 6 continents. Due to the ongoing political conflict in the Red Sea region, cruise line has made the decision to avoid the area altogether, meaning the world cruise will no longer visit the Middle East or Asia and will bypass the Suez Canal. This change impacts the Island Princess itinerary beginning on February 16th The vessel will now spend more time in Australia than Australian waters. The ship will call on Melbourne on the 16th of February, Perth on the 21st, Port Louis, Mauritius on February 29th, and Cape Town, South Africa on March the 6th. Ship will remain at sea between the port calls, spending up to 7 days between destinations. Current unrest in the Red Sea is largely attributed to the Houthi rebels in Yemen, who have been disrupting key maritime route that connects the Mediterranean with the Indian Ocean. While no cruise ships have been attacked during the conflict, many cruise lines have opted to avoid the region to be on the safe side, which now includes Princess. I understand that the cruise lines have to do this. I mean, it's not just Princess. There's a number of them that have canceled out of that area to keep even their crappy PR stuff, to keep their passengers and crew safe. Yeah, well, that's really true, folks. I think it's sad. Number one, I think it's sad that these guys are getting away with this over there. But number two, these people are on a world cruise, and you're going to take a big chunk out of what they had planned on doing. And with the amount of money they spend in midstream to have a chunk taken out of the world cruise, that'd be devastating. Understood. I understand why. I'm not faulting Princess for doing that. I'm just thinking about the poor folks over there that have spent, $100,000 to take this cruise. But now they're not going to get to go through some of the things that could have been on their bucket list. Just a sad situation. All right, the next story comes about Carnival Elation. Experienced some technical issues that affected the speed, and as a result, she was late returning to Jacksonville yesterday. Guests on the cruise sailing yesterday, they sailed, this follow-up cruise, were instructed to delay their arrival by 3 hours. Carnival reports that engineers have fixed the issue, and Elation has sailed on the current cruise. Now, I said they were a little late leaving is all. I have some questions about this. Now, if this was a newer ship, I would think immediately, it's azipod issues. Now, I'm not technically astute enough. Do older ships like Elation, did they even have azipods? Or were they the old-fashioned kind? I don't know. I mean, engineers have said with the azipod issues that they got them fixed, and then they didn't get fixed. That with 3 more cruises, they were having the same issue again. They had to actually get them into dry dock and replace the things before they could ever get them fixed. I think most of the cruise lines have found out on that one. I was just curious how far back did azipods go? I don't know. And I didn't have time today to research that one and find out. But there's a question for some of you guys out there, just to keep me straight. Would a ship like Elation have azipods? All right. The next story today, folks. Go back to Emerald, a proposal by Princess Cruises to be the first major cruise line to call on Yorktown, Virginia, has been withdrawn in favor of visits to Norfolk. The cruise line in February of 23 announced that 2 ships would make multiple calls at the port, offering guests the opportunities to explore the historic triangle, Yorktown, Jamestown, and Williamsburg. It was the Battle of Yorktown that decisively ended the Revolutionary War. Colonial Williamsburg is a living history museum, and Jamestown is the site of the first permanent English settlement in North America. The three historic sites were within a short drive of each other, lending themselves to really nice shore excursions possibilities. The cruise line told local officials that it decided that Island Princess and Emerald Princess will instead visit Norfolk on 3 itineraries. The change is likely to be welcome news to several thousand local residents who opposed the pilot program and signed a petition to prevent it from going forward. Now, when this first came out, I thought, well, that's really great for that area. But then I was thinking, how the hell is a cruise ship going to go in there? I spent parts of several years down in Yorktown when I was still operating the funnel cake business at the Mariners Museum there on special events. Well, they were going to have to park the ship out in the middle of the York River and tender it into a small dock there in Yorktown, and then have buses or whatever excursions set up on shore to take the folks around on whatever kind of excursions they want. I didn't think Yorktown would be big enough to do that. But I said, well, if they're going to try it, okay. And then, of course, a lot of the residents says, wait a minute, it's just going to be awful. So they spoke loudly, and Princess listened. So they're going to do more cruises going into Norfolk. That's fine. I haven't sailed out of Norfolk, even though I live close to that. I need to do that. I need to experience Norfolk. And Norfolk's only 40 minutes away, so, a real good operator could set up excursions still to go to the Triangle and visit. So I'm sure that that area will get some benefit out of it. And of course, there's a lot to see in Norfolk too. So, but that's a sad story. But and again, I understand it, and I'm the people that live there, the people that are going to have to either make it or break it, decided that they didn't want to try it, and Princess decided not to force it down their throat. All right, the final news story today, folks, comes from the river cruises. American Queen Voyages canceled 3 2024 season opening February cruises on the Mississippi River. These are American Queen's February 26th sailing and American Countess February 22nd and February 25th sailings. In a statement, the company said, American Queen Voyages takes great pride in our commitment to delivering an exceptional experience for our guests. In our efforts to uphold this commitment, we have encountered an occurrence that has led us to have to extend our layup schedule to ensure that we can deliver the best possible customer experience. Sorry, folks. That sounds like a bunch of crap to me. They gave no reason for the cancellations other than that BS statement. So the cynical side of my being kicked into overdrive. And here's what I found out. This is not necessarily the whole story. And this is not from official sources. But a number of trade organizations have suspended sales of American Queen Voyages over ongoing service issues, while leaving the door open for resumption
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention, please?
No.
This is Bianca, your cruise director, speaking with a message from the bridge. This morning, the crew of Norwegian Epic will conduct a mandatory safety drill. This drill is done on a regular basis, and it is for the crew and crew only. We ask all guests to please disregard all alarms made during this drill. When the drill begins, you will hear the sounding of the international emergency signal, which consists of 7 short tones followed by 1 long tone of the ship's alarm system. We repeat, this is a drill for the crew and crew only. We thank you in advance for your understanding and your cooperation.
Okay, back to this before this thing starts again. They left the door open to resume the relationship. We're talking about Signature Travel Network, Pleasant Holdings, and AAA are all no longer offering U.S. river cruises due to unresolved service issues. And apparently, while the company claims to have fixed it, there's just not any proof of that. And apparently that's cut enough of their business out that they're not able to sell yet until the big hitters come back on board. Probably some financial issues involved. Some of this stem from problems with refunds last year. Then other people said that their cruises were lovely. So I'd hate the company to be in trouble. On the same token, company's got to make sure that the product they're putting out is right. So we'll just have to follow that one and see how it goes. By the way, folks, in case you've noticed, I don't have a headset on. My new headset was only, 3 weeks old? Quit working. So I'm using my phone, which also means that you're going to hear things like this stupid announcements. All right, let's see who's in the chat room before they start this. If I give you the high sign, it means that I'm getting out of here if they start on the drill. Hot Air's with us, Steve's with us, Joanne's here. Tom says not news, hot news. Punxsutawney Phil saw no shadow. An early spring is forecast. Good for Phil. Gretchen's with us out in Ohio. I am watching Cruise Mapper closely to see where you end up today. Ship didn't move since 6:30. I have not been outside, Tom, but everything I've gotten, including the stuff the paper trail they sent out with all the promotional stuff, says Amber Cove. Does not say Puerto Plata. So I'll let you know. Chillie needs to get to the late dining. I like watching the early show and eating afterwards about 8:30. Joanne says, howdy from St. Thomas. Have you found the ADA elevator? I have. I've been working at Hot Air. Like I say, I've got very little issues on Epic. Few minor things, but nothing major so far. A few clumsy things, but again, nothing major. Keep those hands on the ADA grab bars and out of the way of dangerous toilet paper holders. I used the grab bars, and it was after, I think it was after I had seated myself and let go of the grab bars, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know sliced the hell out of my hand. I look forward to having a meal at Moderno on 2 of our gem cruises. Cindy doesn't like Moderno. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And stuffed myself. Azapods, I'm not sure about that. Sun and Sky, but Star has azapods and was a 2000 build. Okay. So if Star had them in 2000, then probably everybody has them. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today and for the week. Oh, one little announcement. Monday's show will be early again because that's embarkation day down in Miami. I'll do it from the hotel before I leave, but I can't wait and do the normal our 11 o'clock time. So it's going to be early, just like have been the last 3 days. And of course, I'll monitor things over the weekend in case anything happens, and I'll get it back to you. Try to keep this as close as I can. Again, guys, Epic's been a really nice ship, a really good cruise. I have no major issues on anything. The food's been good. The service has been wonderful. The personnel have been fabulous. I've had a lot of fun. I have been, because I'm taking care of a pretty good sized group of people and doing a lot of extra things for the group. I'm not having as much time to do what I need to do. It's a little difficult for my scheduling situation, and I end up crashing early at night, which I do that a lot anyway. So I'm going to have to get out tonight and finish some filming, and tomorrow, because tomorrow night I've got the group dinner, and then of course you got to have luggage out. So I'm going to be, it's really today and tonight, and during the day tomorrow. It's the only time I've got to finish up everything. So I will continue on. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today and the weekend. I will be back Monday. Same channel, different time. Be early again on Monday morning from Miami. All right, that's it for today. This is the old fat travel guy. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the hot seas. Bye, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.